Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Marseille, the property pastor here with Kingdom Legacy Builders, where our mission is to help everyday people like you and me to build a lasting legacy for our children and our children's children using real estate and wealth building principles. And y'all, we got a special treat for you today. I am so blessed to have my brother all the way from Danville, Virginia, Mr. Erik Chambers, who is a phenomenal real estate investor. He's got a great, fantastic Instagram channel where he documents his journey. And today he's going to talk a little bit about his journey, a little bit about his portfolio, give us some free game and tips so that we can build that wealth for our children and our children's children. So, Erik, man, thank you for coming on the channel today, man. Why don't you really quickly just give us a quick intro, brief intro of who you are, and then we'll get ready to jump right into the interview.
Good afternoon, everybody, and I appreciate the invite for the interview. As you said, my name is Erik Chambers. I've been doing real estate for several years, jumped in it real heavy in the last 5. And I'm just looking to invest and grow generational wealth for my family and change the family tree.
Awesome, man. Well, it's good. Thanks for joining again, man. And all of my returning viewers, you guys know the way I love to do it. This channel is about not only building your faith, but also building your finances. I always open up in prayer. And before I do open up in prayer, if you haven't done so already, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Today, we're going to be talking about Erik's journey. We're going to be giving advice. We're going to give you guys some room and some space to drop your questions in the comment section. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. As we're going through and content is being a blessing to you, make sure you hit that like button as well. That allows us to get this message out to as many people as possible because we want to inspire you, we want to inform you, and we want to help you in your journey. So let's have a quick word of prayer, and then we're going to jump right into the questions. Y'all pray with me real quick. Father, thank you so much, God, just for your blessings. Thank you for this time, God, for this day. Thank you, Lord, for Erik, God, coming on the channel today. Thank you for his journey. And I pray that he would be able to inspire people with his story. I pray, Father, that you would just guide us, Lord, lead us and help the person, Lord God, who's listening to this, trying to buy that first deal, that person who's considering even maybe giving up on real estate investing. Let them know, God, that it's possible as they see people, Lord God, maybe in their same state, people who look like them, people with similar backgrounds and journeys. Help them, Lord God, just to find an encouragement and strength. Father, this is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Well, Erik, man, let's dig a little bit deeper into your story, man. Why don't you tell us, where you're investing at? Tell us how you got started in real estate investing, and just bring us up to speed at how you got to this point and what you've been able to do so far.
All right. Well, I'm investing down in Danville, Virginia. Little city down at the bottom, Virginia, in the central, right by North Carolina. I started entering real estate when I was probably about 19, 20 years old. When I bought my first property. My plan was to buy that property, live in it, and then continue to buy more. Because renting just did not seem right to me, paying somebody else money to somewhere to live when ownership was the key. Not sure how I knew that, but just something was in me. Like I said, being that young, life happens. Had my daughter, and so I ended up working a lot and kind of put real estate on the back burner for a little while. And like I said, within the last 5 years or so, I did a lot more studying, gaining knowledge, which is very important to gain that knowledge. And that's when I started looking at deals, doing more analyzing, and started putting in offers. And won my first offer back right before COVID. And I used that property to actually grow my portfolio tremendously just by fixing it up and doing a flip on it.
Okay. Cool. So so it's not like you started way back when, took a little bit of a gap due to life, like we all have. But somewhere along that journey, you recognize the value of owning real estate. And unfortunately, in our culture, in our space, we don't necessarily own in our culture, right? But you recognize early on, hey, it's important that I own this piece of this asset, basically. So instead of just going and buying things, you actually invested in an asset and you've used that over time to build and buy more properties. That's really cool, man, to kind of hear that. How are you? What are you typically doing? I think you mentioned a little bit of rehab going on. So are you typically just buying properties, rehabbing them, and then renting them out? I think you mentioned maybe fixing and flipping, or are you buying traditional rentals? Tell us a little bit about, what your portfolio kind of looks like and what your experience has been up to this point.
So far, right now, I got around about 12 doors. As I told you earlier, I got a few on the contract. But most of the properties I bought, all of them need rehab. I mean,
Okay.
few of them were straight gut jobs. Some of them were light rehabs, but all of them needed rehab. And as you know, I did the BRRRR method to continue to grow, add the value, then go to the bank, get refinanced, have the tenants pay your mortgage down. Then you take that money, take that money you got from your BRRRR, keep investing.
Gotcha.
Take it and go buy liabilities with it. Want to continue to buy assets so that money keep working for you.
Nice. So now with that, as you are doing those rehabs, are you doing that work yourself? Do you have contractors that you're working with? How are you actually able to do all your BRRRR deals?
I tell you, man, honestly, it was a blessing. It's a house I bought for about $2,000. I was looking at contractors to do it, and I forgot to mention also I have a lawn care business.
Okay.
Do residential, and with all the stuff got going on, I just do strictly commercial. I got a crew to run that. But during that time, I was going to do a house, and a guy called me for a job on a lawn care business. We got to talking. He was pretty much he can do it all. He's a
Okay.
carpenter, knows how to do a whole lot of stuff. So I got him to do a few jobs for me on that house. Then I hired him full time, and for like the last 3 years, him and I got a helper and some other guys been working to do all my rehabs.
Nice.
And to save money, I got my background is electrical engineering.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with electrical work and everything. So I do a lot of electrical work myself just to save costs.
Got you.
Soon I'm gonna start using contractors for that. But I use contractors for like roof work, plumbing, some of the bigger things, but all as far as the carpentry rehab, sheet rocking, all that kind of stuff, I got an internal crew, and that saves me a lot of money.
Nice. Yeah. So with that, you kind of utilize your own skill sets, and then you found people to do the stuff you didn't necessarily know how to do. And it's funny how, when you have different kind of goals, the things you need start to line up, and did you say you bought a house for $2,000? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, it's actually it's interesting. My lady is actually was her house before we met and everything. Her daddy got to buy a house that was in an old neighborhood, and he's supposed to help her fix it up.
Mm-hmm.
I stepped with it, and she ain't want food for no more. And I said, well, I just pay you what you paid for it. And so I got it, and I rehabbed it, and that house probably worth about $60,000 now. I think I put around about 20, 25 in it, so put a little equity.
Basically doubled your money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. So real quick, let me back up just a little bit because everybody may not know what the BRRRR method is. So let's make sure that, in the course of defining that for everybody, that BRRRR method is very powerful. It allows us to basically do what we call force appreciation. So that BRRRR method, right, is BR, 4 R's to it, right? You buy a property. So you bought this property for $2,000, right? And then you went in, and the first R is you did what? You rehab that property. So you went, did got your crew to go in. It might have been gutted out, might have been, doing some drywall, sheetrock, paint, maybe some electrical work like you were talking about. So that second R is the rehab phase. And then you went ahead, you find a renter, right? So you go through, you rent that bad boy out, find somebody to generate those funds. Then you found a bank to refinance it. When the bank refis it, they're going to give you, somewhere 75 to 80% of the new value of the property. And then once you've got that money in hand, the difference between what you paid for it and what you put into it, that's tax-free money. So it sounds like you took that money and you went and bought another property. And that's the last R, which means repeat, right? So for everybody who doesn't know about the BRRRR method, that's critical because as you're trying to grow your portfolio, using that, you create forced appreciation. And that's what we call a wealth accelerator, right? So that's really cool to see how you've been able to do that. And understanding where Danville, Virginia is, the population of Danville is not like it's not Atlanta, right? It's not Richmond. But Danville has also provided an opportunity for you as an investor to build a portfolio and to build wealth. So as we hear that, it's important that everybody understands that no matter where you are, you can get started in real estate investing and you can generate wealth. So that is very awesome, man. And really glad to kind of hear that your journey through that process. Now, all of your portfolio is in Danville. Is that correct?
Yeah, all of it in Danville. I'm interested in investing out of state just
Mm-hmm.
because Danville is such a growing area now, and the houses has increased in value and cost, which is great for us that have been here for a while. They already bought the properties for like 20,000. Now they worth, 80,000 and
Right.
100,000. So a lot of us that have been in it for a while has really increased our net worth.
Right. Nice. Nice.
It's getting harder to buy them now, a little more difficult.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, definitely more competition, more people getting started in it. Tell us a little bit about, how are you finding your deals? Are you using an agent? Are you doing stuff off market? What are some of the things you're doing to actually locate some of these 12 doors that you've acquired over the past few years?
My main thing is a lot of word of mouth. I mean, everybody I meet, I tell them in real estate. I give them my phone number. I tell them, you bring me property. I pay you for a referral if I close on it. If I see a house, I try to find out who own it and ask them if they're trying to sell it. I have a couple of agents that I deal with that will bring me some deals every now and then. But it's Facebook Marketplace. I mean, I'm using any and every means to find deals.
Nice. So you steady banging the doors, you steady rattling and working the phones and just constantly looking for that next opportunity. Got you, got you. And as y'all hear it, right, there's multiple touch points. We call it a deal funnel, so it's important that you have a good, strong deal funnel so that deals are always coming your way. And I think you also mentioned kind of being that person. You put yourself out there to say, I'm the real estate guy. Did you have to overcome any apprehension about being that real estate guy, or did it come pretty naturally to you?
Well, you had a little doubt, making sure you can manage everything. Everybody put their fear in your head about tenants not paying you, you lose your property, they're gonna tear your properties up. But there's a lot of people doing this, so it works. It's hundreds of millions of people's renting, so
Right.
renting work. You just get the knowledge, and as long as you get that knowledge, it gives you a good base and more confidence to ensure you can do it. Like I said, just trust the process, and everything works out great for you.
Got you. Got you. Good advice, man. Excellent advice. So tell us, as you've been looking at these deals, what do you tend to look for in a property? As you're looking at a deal, you see something come across Facebook Marketplace, somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, Eric, man, I think I got one that you may be interested in." What are some of the things that really attract you to a property and make you want to go ahead and pursue it?
So the first thing is the cost, the purchase cost of the property. Because I believe as they say, you make your money buying it, not at the end. So as long as I buy it for the right price point, and I've got a good idea what rehab costs, and then I can do my numbers on how much I can refinance it for. Because if you buy a bad deal, it can really hurt you. So the main thing is the price, and then the amount of work. If the house got good bones, the structure of it, no serious foundation issues, no serious water problems, because anything other than that is easy to fix.
Right. Yeah, I have recently bought a property that needed some foundation work, and it definitely was painful. We got our way through it, but it definitely was a painful process. So I definitely feel what you're saying. But you said something critical. You said you make your money when you buy. And for everybody out there, they may be saying, "Man, I can't find a house for 2,000, or I can't find a house for 20,000 where I live at." But I think one of the things you said was you understood your numbers, right? So understanding your market, digging in and figuring out, this is what I can either sell the property for or refinance the property for, and what it'll take me in rehab, and what it'll take me when it comes down to actually what I can get to it in rent. So really understanding those numbers is very important. So that takes some experience, that takes some research to do. As you've looked at your journey, what kind of obstacles have you encountered so far? And then what did you do to overcome some of those things?
I say some of my biggest obstacles were during COVID. Material shortages, lumber prices, material prices tripling, doubling. Cause that really wreck your budget when you got one budget set for this, and all of a sudden you go to Lowe's, Home Depot, and lumber is twice as much as you thought it was going to be.
That's
You
right.
know, and then I say, like the labor force, people working. That's because, I mean, the contractors, they have labor issues, so they're gonna be running behind on jobs. So a lot of it is things you have to kind of overcome. Just keep strategizing. Don't let it get you down. It's because if it's a problem, it's always a solution.
That's right.
Always a solution to your problem. So just stay focused on your main goal and keep pushing forward.
Got you. Man, you really hit on something key there. You kind of talked about, not letting stuff get you down, kind of staying focused. And I call those mindset, having the right mindset when you approach something. As you look at this, through this journey, I want to talk a little bit about, you talked about learning earlier. You talked about, just your own journey, even recognizing the importance of getting an asset. When it comes down to it, what are some of the resources, some of the tools that you have used throughout your journey that really help shape, number one, your mindset, and then number two, your knowledge base? What are those books or those resources or trainings that really helps you to prepare and to succeed as an investor?
Books, like I said, books are very important, especially for mindset. As everybody know, like one of the top books is Think and Grow Rich, especially by Napoleon Hill and by Dennis Kimbro. I got all his books. The Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Another book that I got into was The Money Code. It's like a Jewish book that explains how they deal with money. And it's a Jewish
Okay.
phenomenon because the way their community work with financial literacy is amazing. And so I studied a lot of financial literacy. And then looking at YouTube channels like yours, free game, wealth information, other YouTube channels, Instagram. Just anything I can get, and networking.
Got you.
Finding somebody that's doing it, getting with them, find somebody doing it on the levels you want to do. Just adding value to their life in whatever way you can, and learning anything and everything. That's kind of the main points to help me.
Cool. Yeah. There's some books you mentioned there that I want to check out. I've heard of The Money Code, but I have not read it yet. So I'm gonna add that to my list and check that one out. But as you look at this thing, what about have you had what's helped you most with I guess the practical side of being an investor? You talked about doing BRRRR, right? So figuring out how to do that method. Was that through networking, or was there any particular resources that helped you on that side? Because there may be somebody who's listening and they're saying, man, I have no idea how to figure out the calculations or how to deal with the contractors. Were there any resources that helped you on that side?
Yeah, I actually would say like books. I done read different books on BRRRR. I also I joined a purchase real estate program, Make Real Estate Real. Like ET Jamal, them, I'm familiar with all them. With ET Association. I joined that program, which is a group that man, you can go and ask questions. They go from the foundation of you don't know nothing to apartment complexes. And another thing is learn the language. Just Google, YouTube, learn the language. Once you learn that language, you can go talk to your local banks, credit unions, man. Ask them, just tell them what you want, what you're looking for, and build a relationship with them, because that would help you a whole lot.
Right.
I've talked to several different, like vice presidents of like commercial lending for different places. Go introduce yourself. Get very friendly with them, because they're the key to your BRRRR method.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Man, that's powerful, and I think you mentioned network, you mentioned books, you mentioned even investing in courses. Education is so critical, as a real estate investor. You got to constantly be learning, throughout this process. As we look at where we are right now, you talked about the BRRRR method has helped you a lot. You talked about some of the challenge points that you ran through during COVID. We are in a very changing dynamic, so where things were last year, for example, interest rates were different. Purchase prices were different. One question that people have and that we want to talk through is, how are you as an investor navigating this changing landscape? Inflation, high costs, supply chain issues. How are you looking forward into the rest of this year and even into next year? What's your strategy looking like right now?
I say, man, your numbers. That's like we talked earlier. Understanding your numbers to a T. Even with this, especially with the interest rates, because you got one interest rate now, you go refi the BRRRR, your payment change. You got to make sure your rental points will take care of all your all the expenses, your rent, insurance, maintenance. Make sure you do that because that's the key. If you mess up with your numbers and you go to refi, you can be underwater, and that would not feel good. But like I say, knowing your numbers and just trying to keep your ear to the ground, and I definitely talking to people and just networking and talking to people that got more knowledge than you, and especially find somebody that went through that the '08 time. That was some hard time. Find somebody that went through that, and you can talk to them, and they can have some good pointers that can help you for what might be coming.
Yeah, that's key. So sounds like you really put a lot of value into your network, having mentors, people who've already been down that journey. And one of the things that always sticks to me is that success leaves clues. You don't have to be the first one. The beautiful part, the blessing of things today is that we live in an information age. Information for a lot of us is free. Now there are, like you talked about, courses to take and masterminds to join, but just getting that fundamental knowledge, a lot of that we can get this day and age without a whole lot of upfront investment. So, man, that's great advice, because some people are saying, oh, the prices are way too much, or they're saying, well, the interest rates are way too much. This is a terrible time to buy. Well, at the end of the day, if you understand your numbers, there's always a way, and I really love that advice because as you kind of dig into it, yes, it's different. But then even if you look at back in '08, people went through that process. Now, '08 is not the same thing as what we're going through right now, but it's that there's still nuggets to be gleaned from how they survived that, so that's powerful and great advice, man. I appreciate you just kind of walking us through that because a lot of investors right now, we're like, okay, stuff is different. The things that we were doing last year, this time, maybe we can't always do this year. But that's powerful just to be able to network and talk through some of those pieces. Man, as you look at the reason that you built this portfolio, you talked about the Jewish code, you talk about recognizing money management literature, understanding, how to build generational wealth. Tell us a little bit about just your why, man. What motivated you to just dig into this and to, be an investor, to start building wealth this way? What was that motivation for you?
As you know, a lot of us, we definitely did not start off with money. There's a quick brief story, like back when I was probably about around 10 years old, we actually ended up being homeless. I had to stay with one of my mama's friends for a while because my father, he was a Vietnam vet, he had alcoholic problems and ended up, we ended up losing the apartment we stayed in, and they separated and had to go live with some friends.
Okay.
And in that moment, I promised myself that we would never be in this situation again, me, my mother, and my sister. And so I, started learning about financial, and that drove me to continue to work hard and always study. And I want to change my financial tree. I want to change my generational tree to where they're not getting out the mud. They're gonna start at my ceiling. My ceiling gonna be their floor.
Got you.
So that's my big why, is to build generational wealth and to set my future lineage up, to make sure my daughter, she got a good foundation and don't have to struggle through life, and grandkids, and my sister and her family, just the whole family wants to spread out to where we all can build something and not be dependent on nobody. Because as they say, if you allow them to feed you, you give them permission to starve you also. Be self-sufficient, financial free.
Man, you preaching there. That's good. That's good. So as you look at this thing, I like what you said, your ceiling becomes their floor, and that's important, that we leave this world better than we found it, and I think as you looked at to where you were at, your experience, even being homeless for a little while and having financial struggles as some of your early memories, the thing about it is we always have a choice, and I think that choice is, do I repeat or do I change? And I applaud you, man, for kind of just taking that ownership and saying, I'm going to be the one to change it. Somebody's got to be first, one of us got to be the first one to take that step to be different. One of us got to take that step, and that's the thing that I love about it. And I really love and applaud as I hear your story, man. That's really cool, man. One thing you talked about was having another business, right? You mentioned a lawn care business. Now, one of the things I want to make sure people grab hold of, we didn't dig into it a lot. If you guys have never read it, most of us have read, a lot of people have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But Kiyosaki has another book called The Cash Flow Quadrant, right? And that cash flow quadrant, it kind of talks about, being an employee, being a business owner, right? But then it talks about people who are self-employed and they technically may only just own that job if they're the only person there. And then you have an investor. But I love the fact that not only are you investing, but you also own a business, right? So with that business, you're employing people. With that business, you're also generating additional streams. So that's really, really powerful. And even being able to use that business to leverage it into your real estate. So that's really cool, man. That's, just that next level that we want to be able to get to. We use real estate as passive, and then you've also got active income coming in from other sources. So that's really, really cool, man. What advice, man, as you look at this thing, if you could go back, I know you started, years ago, but for the person who's listening today and they're like, I want to do this, but I don't really know where to start. I'm intimidated, I'm overwhelmed. There's so many different dynamics going on, about finances might not be right. What advice, what one or two things would you give that someone can take action on in the next 6 months that will help them in their journey?
So the first thing I would tell somebody is to understand financial literacy, become financially literate, get on a budget, understand what assets, liabilities are. Don't just go blow your money. Be real, real cautious of how you spend your money if you're trying to excel yourself. Because it's hard to save up $20,000 at one time, but if you can figure out how to save $200 a month and keep building that muscle memory, it's going to get a lot easier. And then once you learn the language and rules of financial literacy, you can use OPM, as you know, other people's money. One thing I know about real estate, you either got to have it. You need the knowledge, the money, or the credit. And if you got one of the two or two of the three, you can find the other ones.
That's right.
So even if you don't have no money, your credit bad, if you gather all the knowledge you can and can talk knowledgeable to somebody else that does have money, there's people with money out here that wanna invest it.
That's
if you
right.
can prove to them you got the knowledge and the know-how to invest their money and return it, it can set you up good. But I would say financial literacy is the number one key. And number two, just start where you at. I mean, find other people. If you get a deal with them, be like, look, man, I come clean. I do whatever. Just let me be part of it. Let me just mentor under you. Whatever. I be your runner. As whatever. Find a mentor and just add whatever value you can. Let's make their life easier. Don't go. Everybody want to say, hey, let me take you to lunch. That going out to lunch is nothing. Me and you, we can buy our own lunch. How many times you got saying, hey, let me go out to lunch, pick your brains? Like, you don't have time. But if somebody comes to you and be like, look, I can be your runner. I can do this for you. I can do whatever you need. You'll be more inclined to have them around and to educate them. Because I want to educate people, but I want to make sure you're not going to waste my time and not do nothing with it.
Man, that you gave a word just then, man. And I think as somebody who, I've been on both sides of it. I've been, the mentee, and I've also been the mentor. And I can attest that if a person comes to me and they say, hey, can I take you to lunch? Like you said, time is very valuable. And going out to lunch, like you said, I can go ahead and hit and pay for my Chick-fil-A, or I can pay for my coffee or whatever that looks like. But the moment that a person comes to me and they say, hey, Marseille, can I go and check on a property for you? If you got a contractor, I can stop by and make sure that's done. Or you need materials picked up, I can do that for you, or I can go and drive for dollars for you, whatever that looks like. That person is going to get they're going to get the majority of my time and my attention because they're adding value. If they come in and say, hey, look, I'm in another state, but I can edit your videos for you. Guess what? They got my full attention, right? And they're going to get access to my knowledge base. So man, that piece of advice is so invaluable. When you bring value to that person, they're going to go above and beyond, because most of them want to teach somebody anyway. But when they get that extra value, they understand that you are vested and you actually care about their success too. So they're going to go that second mile for you, man. That's great advice, man, and truly actionable steps that people can take. So tell me about this, man. When you're not building houses, you're not running when you're not doing a rehab on a house, rather, you're not out running different businesses. What are some of the things that you like to do and enjoy just in kind of your spare time when you're not building generational wealth?
Man, I enjoy spending time with my family, man. Family and friends, we don't get together much because the schedule hectic, but I enjoy that. I also enjoy working out. I enjoy riding my mountain bike. I definitely enjoy outside, man. I'm a nature person. And
Gotcha.
but honestly, man, I love thinking and creating, man. I mean, with the family, the conversation will change to, hey, we need to do this, we need to change that. So it's like business is like it's a joy to me. It's a hobby. It's just it's a lifestyle to always
Yeah,
be creative.
got you. That's really cool, man. Really cool. Well, it's good to see that you're able to do those things. Real estate kind of is affording you to be able to do that, have that kind of freedom, to go hit the gym when you want to, hang out with the family when you want to. That's really awesome to see, man. As we, kind of wrap up the interview, there's going to be people who listen and they want to connect with you. They may want to ask different questions. They may even want to reach out, potentially to add value to you as you teach them about the BRRRR method, or maybe even fix and flip, or how to manage and run a property. How can people get a hold of you? What are some ways they can connect with you online?
Um, my IG name on there is Erik Chambers, ERIK, Erik with a K. Or you can put in Evesting LLC, EVESTING LLC.
Okay.
That's the same Facebook. Just search me, Erik Chambers, Erik with a K. I got TikTok. I'm just getting familiar with that. That's just kind of new to me. I got to get my daughter to help me out with it.
Yeah, you should
But
do some dance videos.
no, I'm not doing that. My daughter's trying to get me to do it, but I
Yeah.
ain't yet. But that's Evesting, EVESTING LLC. I got a website. This is evesting.com, investingllc.com, but that's
Okay.
mainly just for my portfolio stuff and advertisement and referrals.
Got you.
I put some stuff on YouTube. Honestly, I don't know what the YouTube channel is. Might be under Investing LLC, Erik Chambers. I don't know. I'm not heavy into it. I just put a couple of things on there with some projects I've done.
Right.
And I do want to say one message, man. I know it's I don't know if people know I got a full-time job too. And like I told you before, my full-time job pretty much it's just my partner. I use my full-time job as a partnership to fund my real estate business. I use my commercial lawn care business to fund my real estate business. Like everything I get, I put right back into real estate to keep
Right.
growing.
Yeah.
A lot of people think you take that money and you go live this fabulous life, but you grow, you take that money and you just just keep
Put it
feeding your
right
business.
back in. Yep.
Yeah, cause like the book say, Rich Man in Babylon, man, you gotta let your little soldiers keep working for you and let them keep multiplying.
Yeah.
If you got a job, any income, people can get into this and change their life, man. They say, one property may not make you rich, but it definitely will change the way you look at the world.
Yeah. Man, you have dropped so many gems, man, and thank you for giving us the ways we can connect to you. Just so everybody knows, we will have all of the links in the show comment section, so in the description, so you'll be able to get it from down there as well. I will also drop all the books that Erik recommended for you guys, so that you can check them out on top of it. As we just kind of recap this interview, man, there's been so much that you shared with us, through your journey, through your experiences, through advice, through tools, and most importantly, you've shown us that it's possible. I love checking out some of your Instagram videos. You just give those quick nuggets of truth for your mindset. And I always chuckle, when they talk about. I think I saw one time where you were talking about everybody thinks it's fun and games to be a real estate investor until you got to dig the side of your house out and waterproof it. But
Yeah.
through all of those things, right, you help people to see the good and the bad. But in this business, the good far outweighs the bad. The headaches are inconveniences. You talked about different problems you're going to run into, but they can be solved. So man, you've given us so much inspiration, so much info. And man, I just really, really, really appreciate you coming on today and sharing your story with us, sharing some of your knowledge with us. And I'm looking forward, man, to building in the future, looking forward to networking in the future, man. So thank you, thank you, thank you for coming out today, man. And you got any parting words you want to give to the people before we sign off?
I just want to tell you, thank you for inviting me, man. It's been a pleasure.
Most
Um,
definitely.
and that's the main. I mean, just go out there and do it, man. Just do it. Just trust the process, get the knowledge. You can change your life. It don't take much. It's nothing special, man. Just do it. Take the
Awesome,
chance.
man.
Have faith. That's the main thing. Have faith in yourself.
Amen, brother. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate all them nuggets. And for everybody who's tuning in, thank y'all for tuning in as well. We're going to keep bringing you great content to help you in your journey. Like I mentioned, we want to not only build your finances, but also build your faith. I'm praying for your success. If you got any questions for me, make sure you drop them in the comment section. If you got questions for Erik, drop them there as well. We'll get those answered for you. You guys keep pushing. I pray you've been inspired today, and I can't wait to see you again on the next video. Until then, take care, be safe, and God bless.